From the rolling hills of the countryside to the bustling heart of London, the story of the United Kingdom is one of remarkable evolution. Over centuries, this island nation has not only witnessed but shaped the course of history, leaving an indelible mark on the world stage. But like any great power, its journey has been paved with both triumphs and tribulations. For today's expedition, we venture into the annals of the UK's past to uncover some of its most defining moments. Moments where misjudgment and misfortune altered the nation's destiny. These are the stories of the 10 biggest mistakes in UK history. Our journey begins in the late 18th century, a time when the British Empire stretched across the globe. Yet, discontent was brewing in its American colonies. The cry for no taxation without representation echoed across the Atlantic, a symptom of the growing rift between the colonies and the Crown. The seeds of revolution were sown, culminating in the American Revolutionary War. Despite their military might, the British found themselves ill-equipped to quell the fervour for independence that burned in the hearts of the colonists. The Redcoats clashed with the Continental Army, but the vastness of the American landscape and the unwavering determination of their opponents proved insurmountable. In the mid-19th century, tragedy struck the Emerald Isle. A blight, a disease that ravaged potato crops, swept across Ireland. The potato, a staple food for the Irish peasantry, vanished, leaving millions facing starvation. What followed was a period of immense suffering, the Great Famine. The British government's response was slow and inadequate. Their laissez-faire approach, rooted in the belief that the market would self-correct, proved disastrous. Mass evictions, disease and death became grim realities of daily life. The famine left an indelible scar on the Irish psyche, fueling resentment towards British rule for generations to come. The year is 1956. The world watches as Egypt nationalizes the Suez Canal, a vital waterway for global trade. Britain, along with France and Israel, launches a military intervention determined to seize control of the canal. However, the invasion was met with international condemnation. The United States, a key ally, opposed the intervention, forcing a humiliating withdrawal. The Suez Crisis marked a turning point in British history. It exposed the limits of British power in a post-World War II world and signaled the waning of its imperial influence. Chapter 4, The Crimean War, a conflict fought on the distant shores of the Black Sea, witnessed one of the most tragic military blunders in British history, the charge of the Light Brigade. In the Battle of Balaclava, a miscommunication sent the Light Brigade, a unit of British cavalry, charging headlong into the teeth of Russian artillery. The order, flawed and unclear, doomed the brigade to certain death. The Light Brigade rode valiantly, their courage unquestioned, but their bravery was met with devastating firepower. The charge ended in carnage, a testament to the devastating consequences of miscommunication and poor leadership in the fog of war. Chapter 5. As the shadow of fascism loomed over Europe in the 1930s, Britain, scarred by the horrors of World War I, adopted a policy of appeasement towards Nazi Germany. Driven by a desire to avoid another devastating war, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain sought to appease Hitler's territorial ambitions. The Munich Agreement, a defining moment of this policy, ceded the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia to Germany without a fight. Appeasement, however, proved to be a fatal miscalculation. Hitler's appetite for conquest was insatiable, and the policy only emboldened him. Less than a year after the Munich Agreement, Germany invaded Poland, plunging Europe into the abyss of World War II. Chapter 6. As the sun began to set on the British Empire, India, its crown jewel, prepared for independence. However, the road to freedom was paved with turmoil. The partition of British India into India and Pakistan, intended to create religiously homogeneous states, was rushed and poorly planned. The hastily drawn borders, coupled with the displacement of millions, ignited one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs, once living side by side, were now pitted against each other in a whirlwind of violence. The partition left an enduring legacy of pain, displacement, and distrust between the newly formed nations. Chapter 7. In the Welsh village of Aberfan, tragedy struck on October 21st, 1966. A massive coal tip, a mountain of waste material from the nearby mine, collapsed, sending a deadly avalanche of slurry down the hillside. The wave of mud and debris engulfed Pantglas Junior School and surrounding houses, claiming the lives of 116 children and 28 adults. The Aberfan disaster sent shockwaves through Britain. It exposed the negligence of the National Coal Board, which had ignored warnings about the unstable tip. The disaster led to significant changes in mining safety regulations and highlighted the importance of corporate responsibility. In 1989, Margaret Thatcher's government introduced a deeply unpopular tax, the community charge, better known as the poll tax. This flat-rate tax, replacing local rates based on property values, was seen as inherently unfair, disproportionately impacting the poor. Public outrage grew, culminating in widespread protests and riots. The poll tax riots, particularly the large-scale demonstration in London's Trafalgar Square, shook the government. The tax became a symbol of social injustice and ultimately contributed to Thatcher's downfall. The Windrush generation, named after the ship that brought one of the first groups of Caribbean migrants to the UK after World War II, faced a shocking betrayal. In recent years, it came to light that many from this generation, who had every right to live in the UK, had been wrongly detained, denied legal rights, and even deported. The Windrush scandal exposed the UK's deeply flawed immigration policies and the human cost of its hostile environment approach to immigration. The scandal sparked outrage and shame, forcing the government to apologise and establish a compensation scheme. However, the damage was done, leaving a stain on the UK's reputation as a tolerant and welcoming nation. In 2016, the UK made a seismic decision that sent shockwaves across the world. It voted to leave the European Union. The Brexit referendum exposed deep divisions within British society over issues of sovereignty, immigration and national identity. The campaign was highly polarised, fueled by misinformation and promises of a brighter future outside the EU. The Leave campaign's victory, albeit by a narrow margin, ushered in a period of political and economic uncertainty. The UK's departure from the EU has had far-reaching consequences, impacting trade, immigration and the country's place in the world. As we journey through these pivotal moments of misjudgment and misfortune, we're reminded that history is not merely a collection of dates and events. It's a tapestry woven with human choices, their consequences, and the enduring lessons they offer. The UK story, like any nation's, is a complex narrative of progress and setbacks, of triumphs and blunders. By understanding the mistakes of the past, we gain a deeper understanding of the present and equip ourselves to navigate the complexities of the future. For it is through reflection and learning that we can strive to create a better tomorrow. These mistakes serve as important lessons in history, reminding us of the complexities and consequences of political and social decisions. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insightful content.